Hey guys, it's B here and welcome back to the main phase. Today I'm bringing you another Master Duel deck profile. Today's deck profile is for Crusadia, which you might know that I covered a few months back. But this deck profile has been updated for the Link Festival and has been updated with the new bundles that have come out since then. So before we get into the cards, first you need to join Rewrite Format in the description below. It's a really fun alt format that I run and you should check it out. And secondly, you should like and subscribe, but our goal is to hit 150 subscribers by the end of the year. So let's get into the card by card. Okay, so as you might see, there have been a few changes since the last list. Of course, we've got stuff like Forbidden Droplets and Impermanence, which we didn't have access to before in budget because they weren't in the bundles. Plus, we also have we also are running, I believe, one more copy of Crusadia Reclusia because I believe that in a budget list it's optimal. So let's get into the card by card. So we're running one Ash Blossom. This is just generic good card you get from a bundle. It's worth running. Running 3 Reclusia. This card's really good removal, especially going second. You can pop some that might be problematic to beat over otherwise or might prevent you from OTKing. Running 3 Arboria. Arboria is really good. You can search it off reinforcements of the army, and it protects your Crusadias from effects that your opponents might have that might destroy them. Leonis is the least good in my opinion of all the Crusadias, but I still think it's worth playing. Like, it lets your monsters do piercing, which against certain decks such as Guru can be quite good. Running 3 Crusadia Draco, this is the best Crusadia in my opinion. Being able to add a Crusadia back to hand, especially if it was the one you normal summon, so you can special summon it during the same turn, is just so powerful. And I believe that it's probably if you had 4 copies, you'd run this at 4, obviously. Maximus is just a really good card. It doubles battle damage. It just means that you can just get OTKs way quicker. Unfortunately, it doesn't work if your opponent doesn't have a monster, but like you run Kaijus to sort of like try and like prevent that effectively, prevent your opponent from just not having a monster or not having a monster in attack position if you don't have Leonis. Free World Crown, this is basically a pseudo Crusadia because it does summon itself to a zone, but it doesn't have the Crusadia name. And what it does is that you can use it as an interruption if you go first, but ideally it's just an extender, which you want extenders in this list. You want extenders in Crusadia in general. 2 Radian and 2 Gadarla. Kaijus are just good, and these are the best 2 Kaijus in my opinion because they're the smallest, which means in situations where you can't just like make Maximus, which is rare honestly, but like if that comes up, these will be better. These, like Gadarla, for example, can be beaten over by a Decode Talker, while I guess GZKiru can't. It's an option that's worth considering, an outcome. I mean, Raigeki, Monster Reborn, Reinforcements, Lightning Storm. These are all free. Same with Droplet and Imperm before, but like these are just all free cards you have access to, so it's worth running them, and especially Reinforcements. Why it's not good in every deck, it's such as Arboria and Mystic, which is good. We're running 3 Mystical Space Typhoon. This is just good background removal. We'll get back to the other one earlier, but Typhoon just lets you pop an opponent's back row, which is really good against Floodgate decks, for example. Decks are running stuff like Rivalry, Gozen, Tikaboo. Obviously, there are better back row options. You could back row hate options. You could run like Cosmic Cyclone, Twin Twisters, more Lightning Storms, Harpy's Feather Duster. But in a budget list, you don't want to use CP for those, so you just don't. Free Chalice, same logic here, except I think this card is worth running even in non-budget because it's just really good. And unlike Droplet, it doesn't have a cost outside of just playing it. So just negating a monster's effect is just good effect. So we're running 5 Crusadia back row. We're running 2 Testament, 2 Power, and 1 Revival. I think Power and Testament are both decent cards on their own, but I believe that I'm running 2 of each because I don't really think one is particularly that much better than the other. And you run the Revival as a search target off of off of Regulex, and if you open it, you can search one of the other 2, but you'd rather just open these 2 and then search the Revival. And then we're running Droplet and Impermanence as just generic good cards. Okay, so that's the main deck. Let's go on to the extra deck. So we're running 1 Link Spider. Link Spider is good if you get Nibiru'd exactly, because you can summon this in over the token and then go into a Crusadia monster from hand. You don't necessarily always die to Nibiru, but this card just makes it so that you can just play through Nibiru more games than otherwise you wouldn't be able to. Free up Magius. This is the main difference from last time. I'm running 3 Magius instead of 2 Magius. I believe that 3 Magius is just better because like it's just so good, and there's so many situations where you might actually need 3 copies that I don't think it's worth like basically scraping out for 2. Obviously, you could run 2, and I guess you could run something else instead. But I believe that it's just better to run 3. We're running we're running 1 Code Talker. Code Talker is just a very neat, interesting, neat body to play. It's also just a link to, which sometimes you might need to make another link to later in the game. 1 LANphorhynchus. This is just sort of another monster you can make with a Nibiru token because it's not an effect monster. So a lot of things you can't make with it, like Regulex, like Code Talker, like Decode Talker. But you can make this with it. You can make the Link Spider with it. So you still have options if you get Nibiru'd. 3 Regulex. This is a really good card. You just make it with any Crusadia and anything else, and which is important because you can make it with a Link Spider, and then it will add a Crusadia spell trap while Magius adds a monster. And adding a spell trap is really good because it adds the revival, and revival enables your OTK because it lets your Equimax attack all your opponent's monsters. We're running Decode Talker. Decode Talker and Gaia Saber are both just decent generic link 3s. You'd rather make Equimax over any of these 3, also Triple Burst, but in situations where you've already used both your Equimaxes, these are just decent options. Plus, like, Triple Burst has a bit of utility if you have a bunch of monsters, because you can make this and Equimax, but like that's very rare. Equimax is your main link 3. Just being able to gain a bunch of attack, especially if you kaiju your opponent's monster and put it in the zone this guy points to. Gain a bunch of attack, double the damage, attack all your opponent's monsters, and just like basically just kill them. And plus, this card isn't even that good not that bad going first because it is a negate. So yeah, this card's just great. And then we're running the 1 Avramax. This technically isn't mandatory, but this is really important if you're going first because you can set power. You can grab power off the Regulex, and then you can make Avramax using your 2nd Magius and just the generic combo, just like linking up with all the Crusadias, and then that will let you just have a body that's basically unbeatable, which means that then on your next turn you can just OTK. Okay guys, thanks for watching. Remember to like, subscribe, comment, and join Rare Act Format in the description below. And I'll see you all next time.